Welcome back to Brokers of Secrets. Now, today I want to bring you here because we're going to break the mind of Alex. Now, it's going to sound funny. We're not breaking him. We're breaking the patterns, the things that he may not want to have. Now, I don't know Alex that well. So there may not be some things to break. I guess we'll find out together, right? However, what we have found is Alex is an open-minded individual. He's become a friend. And I have recently gotten to know him, and he's got an incredible energy and incredible company. I'd love for you to share quite a bit about what he's doing. As we go along, I want you to pay attention to what we're doing to break the model of his mind. Now, if it's okay, maybe allow me to say some words about what we're going to be doing so the audience can, I know that people have been watching us and perhaps for some time, and if they have, they would know some of the practices and protocols that we follow, and it's very conversational. Yet I think I've never explained this before. The premise of this episode, and many that came before and after, is that we believe that humans don't live in reality. Humans live through a construct to experience reality. And because of that, most people think they need to change their reality while really what they're experiencing is their construct. But inside of that construct are all of our limitations, problems, issues, challenges. And so whenever we experience a challenge or issue or something, whether it's in our company, in our personal life or anything, it's usually not problems with reality, it's problems with a construct. And so in Upgrade, we love helping people upgrade their constructs. But in order to upgrade that construct, sometimes we have to break open the old construct and see what's going on. So that's really what we're doing. To break open the old construct and see if there are things that we can do to optimize. And I'm very grateful that you agreed to come on because I know that sometimes it's not always easy for individuals that are successful and they're going places to be as vulnerable as yourself. But I honestly see that as a sign of not only courage, but intelligence, because I love it when people help me look into my own construct and see what I can do to improve. And that's part of the reason why we created our community, where people become very good at understanding their own constructs and they can help each other. And so today, we're honored and excited that you're joining us. And hopefully we'll be able to do something here that can be beneficial. And but before we start, Alex, would you be so kind to give us a don't be humble, don't be holding back type introduction of yourself? Like brag about yourself and what you do. Tell us the truth. Tell us things that the audience deserve to admire about you.
So I'm grateful to be here. And I have spent the last 20 years as a serial entrepreneur. I started in the cannabis space and at the very beginning of cannabis. This was 2011 in Arizona when the rules
had to be an adventure.
An adventure is an understatement. I'd been growing illegally at my mom's house, literally.
Are we supposed to say
this? I kid you not. Yes, we could say this. It's all public record at this point.
Okay.
And, great story. Like, I had been growing for a few years, and it came to a point where my mom came up to me and she was like, "You are way too good at this," and literally, like, slapped me. Like, full-on backhanded me. We'd had an argument. One thing led to another. She smacked me. She was like, "You need to get out of the house, and you need to go do this professionally." And that was that pivotal moment where the Alex you see in front of you started to be born and shaped over a long period of successes, failures, and everything in between.
Wow.
I'm
already liking you as a guest. Like the kind of intro you give yourself, this is already epic. Please keep going.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I built out one of the first grow facilities in Arizona. It took almost 3 years. It took raising $1.5 million, which for a 21-year-old was a dream come true, but also the scariest thing I had ever done. And we talked about this a little bit, but I ride a wave of hopium. hope, faith, optimism. Like, it's in my nature, it's in my bones. To me, there's no limit on what a human is capable of doing if they set their mind to it, and if they have the grit and the persistence and the stamina to go through it. So went through the process of the very first grow, ended up getting pushed out during a hostile takeover shortly after getting the grow open. We took it to $150K a month at like a cost of $50,000 a month. Did things that never thought possible. Was in High Times magazine the same month that I had the hostile takeover go on.
Wow.
Followed that up with over 15 different cannabis businesses over an almost 17-year period. So like one after another, just nonstop. And it came to a point where I realized that I wasn't building businesses, I was more gambling. And that's when I had to take a step back from cannabis in general, which leads us to where we are now, which is about a year ago, I stepped into the AI space. And a good friend and I built an AI platform, which now is in close to 100,000 stores. We have deals with major telecom companies in Africa, in the Middle East, in Latin America, and it is growing exponentially overnight.
Wow.
It has been a wild ride and a massive pivot from something that I knew like the back of my hand to something I knew absolutely nothing about.
What do you think was the number one thing that led you to this point? If you could teach the people that are listening to this how to jump from one industry to another and repeatedly rebuilding, building to now having, it sounds like a rocket launch and taking over. I mean, if you could tell us, like, what would you say that's something that you learned along the way that could give the people that are listening maybe a hint or an insight?
Two things. Starting over is not a bad thing. It allows you to look at things from a new perspective, a new lens. And instead of coming at it from the place of, I'm a master, you can come at it from the place of, it's a new beginning, I'm a beginner. It allows you to think outside of the box and be creative. Number two, you don't lose until you quit. Quitting is, at the end of the day, what stops people from being successful.
Wow. I like how you answer these. You know, I'm curious, who taught you not to quit? Was it something that was always innate? Was it your optimism and faith, or what was it?
So it was certainly not something that I had. My dad passed away at a very unique age. He passed away at 18. I had played professional soccer in Scotland. I had spent most of my early childhood up to that point playing soccer. It was either go to the military or play soccer and get a scholarship. I bypassed the scholarship and ended up getting Division II offers all across Scotland. I spent close to a year with a Scottish Premier League team at the time called Dundee Football Club. So I had this amazing growing up period of discipline, of learning how to be a professional at something. And my dad passing away at this very unique point where you're becoming a man, according to society. And
when you were 18?
Yes. Like, he passed away a month and a half after I turned 18. That gave me a massive perspective shift on life. And it was, you can die at any moment. He got a cancer diagnosis, and 6 months to the day of getting the pancreatic cancer diagnosis, he passed away. So you can only imagine that, like, a kid at 18, your dad passes away rather quickly, that it shakes you up. It shakes you up in a big way. And so that perspective shift allowed me to look at life as, like, I could die tomorrow. I could die on the way home tonight. So why would I not live according to that rule that life is very, very finite?
What would you say that gave you from that perspective, right? What did that give you? Is it the live in the moment, do my best, give it my all? Or like, what is the outcome of that experience?
It was the mentality of leave it on the field. Like, give your single day the best, as if today was the only day you get to live. this is your life today.
So give it your all, right? Did your dad ever teach you that, or was it from the experience?
Oh, he was a drill sergeant. So
Okay.
I got the discipline, the give it your all drilled into me at an early age. But it didn't come home. It didn't sit with inside of me until he was gone. And I realized how quickly life can come to an end.
Did he also teach you that life can come to an end at any point
No, he did not. I saw that for myself.
because of your father's experience?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. So the learning is give it your all, because why would you not leave it all in the field, right?
For sure.
Make it the best day ever. Now, I got a curious question for you. If you could have that without the second part, which is tomorrow could be the last day or today, would you still have the same outcome?
It's a good question. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I think you could.
I think you could too.
I think you could.
Yeah, because you've done it.
Yeah.
You've done it.
And a lot of what I've done has had very long time horizons of accomplishments. So it's a very interesting dichotomy when you go to build a grow that takes 2 to 3 years to build out to even get open. But you're living in this moment of, I have these things that I have to accomplish today. It's almost like Elon talks about it, where take your 10-year goal and see how you can speed it up to 6 months.
So the reason I'm asking this is, especially where you're heading, what you've got brought you to this point. What we don't want is looking at this program, kind of like a software program, right? It's kept you in the moment, maximizing your talent, your skills, and leaving it all on the field. But there's a part of this program is tomorrow could be the last day. Someone could die, right? We don't want that to be you.
Correct.
So we want to yank out that program so that you can prosper, live long and prosper, right? Because you didn't build all of this just to not be here, to enjoy it, right? And then to benefit the people that get to enjoy what you've built. So I think that if the audience really got to understand what you're building in AI, it's incredible. It's life-changing for the people in all of these places. So yeah, I'm curious. Could you not only sustain it, but propel it to new heights if you remove the life could end at any moment? Would that be something that you could do?
I certainly think so. And I think over what I would say the last 3 to 4 years, I've started to do that exact thing of dissecting this, living in a singular moment or a singular day, and actually having more expansive thought around what am I going to do next week, next month, next year, and having that fit more into how I live today. I built that baseline, if you will, of like today's the only day you get to live. And then from there, I've had to figure out how to slowly stack on top of that in order to make more long-term success.
Yeah, I mean, from something that traumatic,
Takes time.
I can't blame you, right? Like that's going to shift someone's perspective. And I think that you're naturally growing out of that old perspective that served you now into longevity and wealth, right? Like, as you can tell, I'm doing something here, right? Like I'm
100%.
intentionally wanting
Oh yeah.
to help preserve you
Oh yeah.
with this in mind. So I'm curious, what's next for you then?
So building my instant AI has been the culmination of close to the last 20 years worth of business experience, and also reshaping myself over and over and over again.
Yeah.
My goal is to build my instant AI into something that is worldwide, that changes the face of what we see AI today as. Today, AI, in my opinion, is looked at as something that is very not community focused. It's looking to take jobs away from people. It's looking to suck the life out of communities. We've looked at it from the opposite perspective. I want to build humanity up using AI. So I look at it, instead of AI co-opting humans, I want to co-opt AI.
Oh, interesting. And you're offering this to different places around the world.
Absolutely.
Tell us more if you would.
Yeah, so we have developed, it's so wild and wildly different than what every other company is doing. We are the only company in the world right now that sells a prepaid voucher or a gift card. And in most countries around the world, they don't pay subscriptions for things. And you can imagine people in Africa are not going to pay in US dollars for a ChatGPT subscription, for a Claude subscription, for a Gemini subscription. That they don't live in that world.
Yeah.
You know, second and third world emerging markets do not live the same way that people in the US do. We live in a bubble. And that bubble is like, we are spoiled rotten. And in a good way. But also we sometimes lack the sight of what actually goes on around the world. And so part of what we're trying to do is to give people access on their dime to the usage of AI, reduce the potential, what we call the power gap between the first and the third world. Because the more expensive these models get, like Fable 5 just came out, which is Claude's mythos that they've been talking about in the news. It's more expensive than anything prior. Somebody in Africa is not going to be able to afford that. So our goal is to reduce that power gap between the first and the third world, because in my mind, knowledge is power.
You're creating a wealth transfer.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
Potentially. Or a knowledge transfer. I believe that people should have access to knowledge.
Which is wealth, right?
It is, if applied properly.
I like that. I like that. I like that. And, you know, you're also, wow, this is a very special thing. So all the more reason for us to make sure the prosperity and longevity are connected.
100%.
Yeah. So I'm curious, if I may, are there downsides to removing the one could die tomorrow program?
No, yes and no. I think it's about how you do it, how you remove that programming. Not so much, I don't look at it so much as black and white.
Good. Yeah. What would be the downside?
I think the downside, if you went about doing it in the wrong way, you could potentially take away somebody's, determination, if you will.
What about for you, though? I'm curious about, like, for you. Would it cause you to lose motivation?
No,
right?
I am unique in the sense that
You're ready to live.
I'm not only ready to live, but like I thrive on pressure. I thrive on building things. It was funny. I had somebody say to me, "What were you doing that's fun today?" And I literally answered, "Everything I do is fun. From work to play to the basic errands that I do. Every single thing in my life is fun."
Pressure. That's an interesting word. You thrive on pressure.
I love it.
So if there's no pressure, you don't thrive?
No, I wouldn't say that, but
Okay.
I turn into a unique animal when pressure is applied.
Really?
Yes.
Could you be in that unique animal without pressure?
For sure. I just
So it's a
enjoy it a little
choice.
bit more.
Yeah. So things are at stake.
Yes.
So I think we're seeing a pattern here. If there's pressure of life and death, it's brought you to a certain point. But now you're having different pressures, but still pressure, right? I'm curious. I'm sure you've considered the cost of pressure on the nervous system.
Absolutely.
So the goal is to thrive and be that different animal, right? So if you could do that without the pressure, would you do it?
I would, but I've actually figured out how to apply techniques like breath work. I'm very selfish.
Love it. Okay, tell me.
I'm very selfish in how I take care of my body, so that when that pressure is applied, I can hit the go button.
And it makes you stronger.
And it's like turning on the nitrous in a car.
I'm only testing the boundary of what the pressure is, because it sounds like this pressure is healthy for you.
I love it.
Okay.
And I have always seeked the outer edges of growth, the limiting factors that people feel that they have, I
Yeah.
tend to push those boundaries. But I'm very careful, especially in the last couple of years. I did realize how unhealthy pressure can be,
Yeah.
how unhealthy business entrepreneurial spirit can be if it's used in the wrong context. So now it is, I go to the gym twice a day. I do breath work every day. I meditate every day. I get up really early just to watch the sunrise. There are certain things that I do to curate my experience so that when I do hit that button, it does not have a negative effect on me, or I limit it.
But you do find that to be fun,
Oh, yeah.
which is very important.
Oh, yeah. I love
Ah.
building things. And if there's a little more pressure to what I'm building, it's a little bit more fun.
Got it. Got it. I just want to make sure the pressure is not connected to the live today and not live tomorrow type model, right?
It used to be.
It used to be.
I had to make a disconnect from it. And part of that was the industry I was in. Being in the cannabis space where unregulated, dark, illegal, there's a lot of things that go into being in an industry like that. That is where releasing and stepping away from that industry was akin to having like 1,000-pound ball and chain on my ankle
Wow.
that I just like released myself from.
It's like a rebirth.
Very much so. And I am still in the process of that.
And is that a good thing in the process, or would you like to complete it? Or
I mean, is the process of growth ever really complete? That's the question I would ask. So
no.
I think the process is a good thing.
Interesting. So you're still in the process of this rebirth and growth that you're talking about. Let's say you achieve this global, this ability to give people and bridge that power gap. What's the next thing after, or is there a next thing after?
I think there's probably a next thing after. I don't quite know what it would be.
Yeah.
Aside from a family.
Oh.
That is extremely important to me, and I have sacrificed and put it off for the right moment. So I would say that for me is the next big adventure.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Huh. Why wait?
Oh, trust me, I'm trying.
Yeah.
I say I'm trying. I'm working on it. It has taken time because I've always put business first. I've always put building first. I was very selfish in that regard. And I had not found the right person that would integrate into my life as I did into theirs.
Oh.
That may have changed.
And what happens if you meet that person tomorrow?
I may have already met that person.
Oh, really?
Maybe. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that next chapter isn't so far at all.
No. I would say that next chapter is in less than the next 5 years.
So that's going in parallel with
Yes.
this. I see.
Potentially, but
Potentially.
also this could have a much shorter time horizon than even I have expected.
What would you like?
If I had my wish,
Mm-hmm.
break the glass ceiling this time next year and pass it off to a larger company in some sort of merger and acquisition between Q4 of next year and Q2 of the following year,
Mm-hmm.
and allow somebody else to continue growing it from there and change focus.
To your family?
Yeah.
Ah. So you better start soon, sounds like.
Better start soon.
I mean, that's not up to me to say, right? I'm just curious. Is that a good
it's- I've already
proper
started.
statement?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've been methodical in curating the schedule and the achievements and milestones to hit that. And I'm actually a little ahead of schedule.
Oh, okay. When it comes to business and the relationship, or one?
Both.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm curious then, what would happen if that were to be even more ahead of schedule?
I would smile more, probably.
Okay.
A little bit.
A little bit?
A little bit.
So it doesn't matter to you. It's fun.
And to me, I also don't put so much emphasis on like it needs to go faster.
Yeah.
I'm very aware that there are certain machinations that are bigger than I am. And
Yeah.
I have faith in a grander plan of I'm doing my part to the extent that I can, and how things fall in place outside of that is not always up to me.
What's up to you?
Everything that I have control over.
How do you determine the boundary of what's under your control and not?
That is a very nuanced question.
Yeah.
I don't have an answer for that right off the bat, because I think there's the black of what I can control.
Yeah.
There's the white of what I absolutely can't control. And then there is this big fat gray area of semi-control. Like, I have my input, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to get what I want out of it.
I think they just have different rules.
For sure. They do.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, if I don't play any soccer and I'm going on the field, you're going to dominate. Anyone else is going to dominate who knows the rules, right?
Yep.
The world between that black part and the white part, there are different rules sometimes.
100%.
So the not so physical, the mental world has its own set of rules versus the physical world. So I'm curious then and I'm going back to the original question. You can see I'm finding the boundaries of where things are. What happens after, let's say, exit is not only successful, more abundantly than you expected, which is great. Why not, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Family's amazing, healthy wife, healthy kids, healthy everything that you want. What's after that? You're going to get bored, or are you?
Oh, I will absolutely be having to get into something.
Because I mean, I'm not saying you'll be bored with your family. You'll love them. You'll have a good time.
Right.
But at some point, you're going to be like, yeah, I need to get into something, right? Because knowing that you're a serial entrepreneur, this is not the first time that, we're among serial entrepreneurs. So what would you do?
I think I would do something more community-based, more in line with, potentially a large podcast, potentially, talking to people.
Yeah.
And the ability to take my experiences and relay them to the younger generation.
Oh.
That is very important to me.
Okay. Why is that?
I think as a leader and as somebody who's had success, it is partly responsibility, partly duty to hand that to the next generation. But it's also just something I enjoy. I'm very giving in the knowledge that I've accumulated. One of my favorite books is The Giver.
And so giving to the next generation sounds like a piece of the mission. That
Absolutely.
What's after that?
That's a good question. I don't know. It'll depend on what the world looks like, because to a certain extent, I'm also an opportunist and strategic in, hey, I've accomplished X, Y, Z. I'm now sitting here ready to try something new. What does the world look like at that point?
Ooh,
where is there an opening? Where do I see everybody's going left? I can go right.
I'm liking where this is going. It's very cerebral, but yet it's also you're being very open and very vulnerable and sharing the emotions. Because I think that oftentimes, I don't know if you've experienced this, but like if you meet up with a friend and you ask them questions, they literally, I don't know, like they talk for the next 2 hours from one question, right? Like your answers are controlled, deliberate, intelligent, and then it makes sense. There's a lot of, it's almost like you're intentionally and or unintentionally educating the next generation just by listening to you, right? So I'm curious, because that's so important, and then there will be opportunities along the way, of course, there always will be, right? What's after that? You have another opportunity, something amazing, and of course, based on your track record, your focus, who you are, at that point, you're like, oh, I'm going to do this. And then let's say that's another massive success. You create this incredible legacy for your family. What would you do after?
That's another good question. I would say to what you said a second ago, I used to talk in circles.
Okay.
I had to train myself to learn how to speak and relay a message without over talking. That took a long time. I used to be very bad at that. And it's only, in fact, in the last year that I've actually started to see a difference in how I speak to people.
Perfect timing to invite you on the podcast.
I agree.
Oh,
As far as what I would do that far down the road,
yeah.
I don't have an answer because, to a certain extent, looking that far down the road, to me, takes away from some of that energy and focus of the here and now. It's almost like if you're a fighter that is working his way up the ranks, you're not thinking about the championship fight when you're 5, 6, 7 fights away. You're thinking about the guy in front of you. You're studying the guy in front of you to beat the guy in front of you.
Are you plotting to be the champion?
I am.
What if you plot to be the emperor?
I'd like to own the ring.
Yeah, because then you wouldn't just be thinking about the fights, would you?
Agreed.
You'd
Yeah.
own the ring and the stage and this whole coliseum.
Correct. And that is, to a certain extent, a metaphor just to relay a message of, I don't want to take too much energy away from the here and now and apply it 20, 30, 40 years in the future.
Yeah.
That's not to say, though, that I don't have a grand master plan of if every wish, dream came true, where I could be.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's not the intention to take you away from the present, because the present moment is a very interesting thing. Mathematically, one would say the present moment is like a interference pattern between the past and the future. So if you want to change the present in a way that is more predictable, you either alter the past or your perception of the future.
Now we're getting into it.
Right?
Yes.
So
I talk about this all the time, by the way.
That's good. That's why the farther we can stretch into the future, the slightest degree of change can create a massive interference in the present moment. So that's why I'm asking what's next. And also partially to stretch the mind's desire to live even longer. Because it's one thing to say, I'm going to live. Another thing to have plans so that your mind forces you to be like, well, I got stuff to do. I got to stick around.
100%.
So
One of the images that, and I'm glad you brought this topic up because I love the idea of mental time travel. And there was a CIA paper that came out years ago that talked about this idea that if you can move into the future in your mind, create a memory in the future of you in the future, feel it emotionally, and then bring it back to the present, it can actually change the present. So I have many images, but one specifically in the near short-term future that I think about constantly.
Mm-hmm. Tell me if you might.
Yeah. So I have a mental image standing in Times Square with the news release of the M&A of our company with my partners, business partners, and significant other. And it is that like New Year's Eve-esque moment of everything has been done exactly according to plan. And I have like implanted that in the here and now every single day I live.
I like it. Now, the reason I ask what's after that, because I'm going to keep asking.
I know.
It's because I spend a lot of time with people that experience that moment and the years after. And I get to see what they struggle with, what they love, what they enjoy, and what robs them of their joy. And what's interesting is when someone project all the way as far as possible, even 100 year or beyond into the future, you begin to mitigate potential ups and downs. Not saying that is a problem to have ups and downs, but it mitigates a lot of the potential error because you will notice what's not aligned with the long term. So it saves and preserves a lot of energy, capital, heartbreaks, and things that are far worse than not having money.
Yes.
So part of what we're wanting to do here, at least I am intending to do it, right? You can tell me no, is I want to see Alex not only succeed, because what you're doing is going to change a lot of lives. And you've gone through the ringer to get here. There's no reason to keep any reason or structure in the mind that would cause you problems that you've already solved in the past. But the mind's funny because it's familiar with problems of the past. It will perpetuate them until we decide that it's no longer useful to us.
Agreed.
And sometimes that decision comes with awareness, but the other parts of it is deciding there's something more incentivizing, something that's more significant, like having a family, having legacy, helping the next generation. Yet I'm still curious. You're going to do all of those things. That's like, I have complete confidence you're going to do it. I mean, you've done what you've done so far, and then you're already on your way to doing these things. That's not going to take you much time. Just based on what I'm hearing, I think the audience would agree. You thrive in pressure. You've gotten, I mean, look, historically, people that have become professional athletes, they have been the best people that we work with. Why? Well, they've got discipline, first of all. They master the physical of their body, of the environment. And one of the most interesting concepts alchemically, speaking of ancient learnings, is one who masters the physical is ready to master the non-physical. But the rules are different. The last 10% of massive success is not the same rules of the first 90%. But the last 10% is also not just 10%, it's 1,000, 2,000%, right? That exponential growth.
Well said.
But it's uncharted territory for most successful people. Even those who have, exited with tons of wealth, they're still wondering what's going on in that 10%. Well, what's interesting is historically, if you plot your plan, as simple as it sounds, really far into the future, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps beyond each of these successful events that would be considered massive milestones of one's life, your mind begins to see how to eliminate some of the waste, some of the heartaches and headaches that are far worse than not having money, which we've discussed some. Because your mind's like, there's no reason to have those. If I'm going to go this far, let's not only time travel, let's make sure we gather all the right resources now rather than later.
100%.
So tell me this, if you would, what's after the successful exit, having a great family, kids are learning amazing things from you, around the world. They're blessed to, learn some of the lessons that they didn't have to learn, right? That you've learned for them, literally. What's after that?
Oh, I'm going to be building something. I can guarantee that. And I would say I'm probably going to, it would have to do something with outer space, to be honest. And I can tell you that without a doubt. I stare at the stars on a regular basis. It's fascinating. So I can say without a doubt, it will be outer space. And the second would be some sort of rebuild of pieces of the healthcare system. There is a part of me that has always wanted to go back and take away what I went through from other people.
Wow.
So those two things are on the list. And now we're getting into the
I can sense what you're saying.
Yes.
Beautiful. So some would say it's the final frontier.
Yeah.
Right? And the preservations of humanity's health in general, collectively, is going to preserve the species.
Yes.
So here's another question. What's after that?
Grandkids.
Okay.
Yeah. And here's where this gets even more quirky and funny.
Yeah.
We could be around a lot longer than we think we could.
Right.
Because of technology.
Yeah.
So the idea of living past 150, and I come from a family that has really good genetics. Pretty much everybody in our family has lived to be about 100.
Oh, nice.
So the idea has dawned on me that medication, technology, things like that could lead to an additional, what I'm going to call quarter of life or piece of life.
So basically you're a teenager right now. So
I feel like it.
Yeah. Well, I definitely agree. And I was that person that everyone looked at that was like, oh, here's the weirdo that says, why don't you make 100-year plan? And I have clients that were like 70 years old. I'm like, make 100-year plan. They're like, I won't be around. I'm like, who told you that?
Yeah.
Right? Who told you that? So I'm going to take a slightly different turn for a moment.
Okay.
Are there people in your life right now that are telling you, because sounds like your family has already told you everybody lives to 100, right? Are there people that are telling you that you're going to be successful, you're going to live long, you're going to prosper? Are there a lot of those people, or are there very few, or is it just you?
I would say I have an interesting group of people in that I have a very close-knit group of people.
Yeah.
That positive reinforcement all day, every day, that view me as I view myself. And then there is a larger group of people that, to a certain extent, I keep at arm's length because I am very aware of not having negativity or not allowing it to creep into your inner circle.
How do you know what's negative?
Oh, it's for me anyways.
Yeah.
Picking up on it is very easy, of lack of confidence, lack of trust, doubtfulness. It's, if you know how to read between the lines, and if you've been in business long enough to see when people say no to you, when they say maybe, once you learn about people, you realize, you pick up on, oh, that person's not necessarily in my corner.
Got it. So intention of where they may be with you,
yes,
right?
100%.
I'm curious then, so in your inner circle, sounds like you guys reinforce very positive things.
Absolutely.
I remember one of my friends who actually sits on the board in a company that I'm a part of, and he's a wingsuit jumper. I was interviewing him because we were building this project that's a simulator for wingsuit jumping. And I was like, so what do you not do when you go on a wingsuit adventure, right? Whatever you call this, when you go on a jump. He said there are no negativities allowed.
100%.
Any prediction of, oh, the weather's weird, we could die, any even hint of that has to be removed.
100%.
Completely, right? So here's the really critical question. Your friends know about your story, obviously,
yes,
right? And how you perceive that. I know that you say you've changed. Tomorrow could be the last day. What have they done about it?
So my two best friends, one has been a close friend for 2+ years. One has been actually a close friend for 30 years.
Wow.
My best friend of 30 years, his dad actually passed away from cancer as well when he was younger.
Interesting.
There is and it's funny because we have a running joke between the three of us. If you know Dragon Ball Z, Goku and Vegeta, like that is the characters of our life, if you will. Okay. And so it's very nuanced in that I can maintain the thought process of today could be the last, while also maintaining the thought process of not allowing that to affect or negatively enforce patterns in my life. So I've figured out how to turn off the negative side of that and only have the positive of it. And we discuss this on the three of us on an almost daily basis. And they are not yes men. They are people that challenge me on a constant basis.
And what's the outcome?
Growth 24/7.
Like specifically when it comes to this topic.
So this topic is not necessarily a topic that gets brought up as much because we are all so optimistic about life in general. Yeah. We are all very faithful about life. We are all very upbeat and optimistic. So it's very few and far between that we have a conversation around like, hey, maybe thinking that way is holding you back, because so far it has been propellant for all of us.
Interesting. So I took a programming class because I studied computer science and IT like way back in the day when I was in college. And I remember one night, and there's a reason I'm sharing this story. One night I was in the lab, and this is early on. I was in the lab, 11 p.m., and I'm like, man, I can't figure out this program. I thought I was done building it. I was like, it should be working. I called some help and they're like, you should Google this. I'm like, Google what? Like I've been Googling for the last 3 weeks, right? And tonight, like I finally got to this point, I want to go to sleep. They're like, keep Googling. Finally, like 3 or 4 a.m. came around. I'm like, I can't figure this out, guys. Come over here. And this guy spent like 3 minutes looking at my codes, which were ridiculously long. And you're in AI, so like code, like there's a lot of code that I wrote that those 3 weeks. And the guy was like, 3 minutes later, he's like, oh, it's the semicolon here. And I was like, oh, you could have told me this 4 hours, 5 hours ago. I could have gone to sleep. He's like, well, but you wouldn't have learned, right?
Yep.
And now I then spent the next however many years noticing the semicolon, warning other people about the semicolon, right? Now, what's interesting here is I'm noticing that even though it's no longer a thing that affects you, it's the first thing you brought up in our conversation.
100%.
So I know that it's not like we're best friends, at least not yet, right? Like bring over the steak, we'll become best friends.
Let's go.
It's, I mean, jokingly, like I do very much appreciate like what you've said so far already. And I think that as the audience get to know you, it's very reasonable for any normal human being to be like, wow, it's minute by minute, Alec is more and more likable. Now, I will say for that same reason, the semicolon here may be the death propelling. Now, let me say this. I do know that it's a dichotomy because you're like, it's not affecting you. But you know when you like, when an old friend that offended you way back in elementary school, maybe they stole your pencil, you're like, I'm so pissed off at this person, right? But at this point, you no longer care. You no longer care because it doesn't affect you.
Yep.
And you're in that don't care attitude. You don't even remember that kid's name or how they look like. You haven't even thought about it until I brought it up and you still just laughed about it, right?
Yep.
Is it at that stage when it comes to looking at death?
Yes. And I can honestly say that.
Good.
But having said that,
yeah,
I still have this want. There's an interesting image in my mind. I went through kind of what you could call like the Batman moment.
Oh.
And there is still something I have yet to do, which I promised myself I would do the day my dad passed away. So there is still something that lingers that I'm still going to do. And that would be the final nail in the coffin, so to speak, the final piece that is left to what we can say as fully releasing it.
So you're holding on to it to remind you.
One piece.
What if you
little
could
piece.
remember to do it regardless?
Oh, well, I can now, and it's not something that affects me. It's just that it's that final little thing that's left to do. And it's that is what I'm actually hoping to accomplish over the course of the next 2 years.
Got it.
Yes.
So another angle real fast. And I'm one of those people that like tend to not give up on a topic for a little bit, right?
Please, I love it.
So there's an interesting thing that goes on in all of humanity is that when there is something that we want to go away from, something painful, we'll go away from it. And it will be in the back of our mind to go away from that thing. At this point, we're almost like we don't care about it anymore. The problem is when we're so far away from it, it becomes less motivating to stay here. And so a lot of entrepreneurs find themselves restarting, creating a reason to come down here to restart.
100%.
Right? And it becomes a roller coaster. Lose it all, start again. Lose it all, start again.
Yes.
So it's a life and death, start over.
Yeah.
Right? The moment the entrepreneur completely unsubscribed from that last little semicolon, they find themselves towards something they want.
Yes.
And that toward is why I keep asking, what's next, what's next, what's next, what's next? Because if we built enough incentives here, no longer is there a reason to look here.
100%.
It's all here.
Yep.
So there's infinite heights. That's why when you said aerospace, I'm like, okay, we're getting somewhere because it keeps going there, right?
Yep.
So the fun part of the entire, I mean, crazy. We've already talked for 52 minutes.
Wow.
Can you believe it, right?
Wow.
So going here is going to, this is not a promise, but I've never seen it not work. It's going to dramatically reduce the unforeseeable downturn.
100. Yep.
So what you've done already is winning the fights. Winning the fights again. Winning the fights again. The hero's journey requires obstacles, pain, problem. The emperor's journey goes towards something without that same fight. So I'm curious, if you were to completely let, I mean, just presupposing for a moment, right? If we were to completely let go of that final semicolon, is it okay to ask what would happen?
Oh, for sure. And I think we both know the answer.
Ah.
And that is something I have had to train to leave that semicolon behind.
How long would you like to take?
And interestingly enough, you asked a question earlier, do my friends and I discuss this idea?
Yeah.
And it was only in the last 2 years that I have seen the trajectory of my life change, with one friend coming in who specifically said, no more semicolon.
It's a hint.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's working.
Because this is the time to really let that go. Because the glass ceiling, you said, once you break the glass ceiling is held by the semicolon.
Yep.
So that's why I said, what if it happens a lot sooner? I think it's a decision you get to make.
For sure.
I think this is it.
Yeah, I agree.
I think this is it. The moment of decision. So I think that we should let the audience wonder what happens next.
I agree.
Thank you for coming on. This has been a great pleasure.
Same.
And I think it's been not only tremendously productive, but the audience get to ask themselves, what's your semicolon? See you in the next episode.